Had this been an actual emergency, the attention signal you just heard would have been followed by emergency information, news, or instructions.
Arguably, the greatest and most influential invention of the 20th century was the television. The invention of the television has impacted the world immensely in positive and negative ways. Life before the television was far different. Some say before the television, there were far more face-to-face encounters. Also said is how people would get out more and do more physical activity rather than just sit at home on the couch watching television. On the other hand, there was a lack of communication, breaking news, and entertainment. This caused the world to be a more dangerous place in emergency. Before the television was invented, people used radios. During the 20s, 30s, and 40s, radio was dominant and filled with a variety of formats. People regularly turned into their favorite radio programs. In fact, according to a 1947 C.E. Hooper survey, 82 out of 100 Americans were found to be radio listeners. It was an age called the Golden Age of Radio, also called old-time radio. It refers to a period of radio programming in the United States lasting from the rapid spread of radio broadcasting in the early 1920s until the television had been invented and turned into the replacement of the radio as the primary home entertainment medium in the 1950s. The beginning ideas of the television were conducted by a 14-year-old Philo T. Farnsworth. He first came up with the idea of the television when he had read many science fiction books that used spinning mirrors to capture the light of a moving image, but they didn't seem to be fast enough. After a while of thinking, Farnsworth came up with this theory. Why not capture light in a jar and transmit it in a series of individual lines of electron beams? You could magnetically deflect each line one at a time so that together they would form a moving picture. He showed his science teacher and explained all of his thoughts and ideas, and for a few weeks after, they spent time trying to think of possible ways to perfect this idea of the television. Years passed, and although there are many family hardship in Farnsworth's life, he was determined to go to college, and he did. He attended Brigham Young University. When his father passed away in 1923, he left college and had a multitude of different jobs. Back at home, Farnsworth told his friend Cliff about his idea for the television. Cliff told him this idea was too good to be shared with anyone else. Nonetheless, it was shared with someone else. One of Farnsworth's bosses in one of his jobs was a man named George Everson, who was very interested in his television ideas. Farnsworth explained that they were still working with mirrors and discs. When he went on to explain his idea more, his boss agreed to put up $6,000 so this idea could be put to the test. After many years of working hard and testing over and over again, he successfully transferred his first image in 1927 at the age of 21. The first television had been invented. In the end, it was Vladimir Zworykin, Charles Jenkins, and John Bayard, along with Philo T. Farnsworth, who all equally attributed greatly to this invention of the modern television, each supplying their own piece to the finished product. The very first television ad appeared on July 1st, 1941, during a baseball game on a local New York channel. The 10-second ad was for Bulova watches and cost about $4. It completely revolutionized television.
America runs on Bulova time.
Due to the overwhelming success of the Bulova advertisement, other companies began to realize that they needed to jump on board with their marketing on the television as well. In the many years since television has come to be, this piece of technology has had an incredible impact on society and basically revolutionized the way people see themselves, others, and the world around them. Ever since the beginning, there was a strong debate on whether the television had a positive or negative effect on society. Television is a faster and easier method of giving information, misinformation, entertainment, and advertising than any other previous media such as newspaper and radio. It is believed that in the 1960 U.S. presidential election, Richard Nixon lost because he had made a poor impression on the television due to his appearance, which would not have been a problem if the debate had been taken place in print. The influence of the TV is immense. It deeply penetrates our collective conscientiousness and affects the way we think about everything. Television has become an important part of daily life. People often find themselves sitting in front of the television screen for a longer period of time than ever before, and this is due to the fact that the television has evolved immensely over the years. The television's ability to connect, educate, and inform the public is often overseen by the lack of individual responsibility in using this amazing invention, causing its impact on society to be viewed as negatively. In 1986, the American Physiological Association did a study on the effect of television on society. In this study, it said that the television occupies a large amount of a viewer's time. From this, television has set influence on people. It has had a direct effect on children and adults, changing many things about daily life, such as behavior and interaction with family and friends. American children now spend more hours on the television than they do in school. Television has had a big influence from this study by being filled with information that can be persuasive, and often these messages are carried away with the viewer, whether the message is positive or negative, depending on the programs being watched. Television provides viewers access to arts, music, religion, new technology, and information. Viewers have been able to witness everything from presidential debates to man walking on the moon, to new ways to renovate their homes, to how to look like a runway model, and to even wars being fought right in front of them. The first televised war was the Vietnam War. The television had an effect on the outcome of the war because it had an anti-war influence. TV has become one essential to households everywhere. The presence of a TV is helping change habits pertaining to things such as talking style, eating timing, and change in general. Arguably, one of the most important impacts of the society about the television was televised politics. Aware of the strength of the TV, many politicians and political parties are more interested in getting time on the television and find themselves in a far easier position to address more things to larger groups of people. People can now fully understand what is going on in elections and many other things pertaining to politics. TV seems to have dramatically changed the political environment. The authenticity of news and other informative material has never been more accessible to people through any other means of communication available other than from the TV. People can gain an immense amount of information through 2 minutes of television footage than they ever could before using the television. Now, according to USA Today and Nielsen Media Research, the average American home has 2.71 televisions and 2.55 people. The average American watches about 34 hours of television per week, according to another Nielsen study. 99% of Americans in the United States obtain televisions. 65% of Americans have more than 3 televisions in their home. The introduction of television to society is one of the most significant social events in the 20th century. TV has made the world accessible to millions of people through the touch of a button. It has been one of the most major turning points in history.